Spread your wings and fly, go!
Yo, what is going on YouTube? This is your boy Kamen Spike, back again once again. And today, people, today we here for Kamen Rider 01 Vulcan and Valkyrie. Now this movie is basically the entire conclusion to Kamen Rider 01 as a whole. Now, spoiler alert, heavy spoilers in this video. If you don't want to hear any spoilers on this movie, please click off now, because you're gonna get heavy spoilers. If you have not seen the Kamen Rider Metsubo Jinrai movie, where we get the birth of Kamen Rider Metsubo Jinrai, long freaking name. This is the movie where we basically take him out. They basically end up destroying him. Well, them technically, because he is the fused consciousness of our four Metsubo Jinrai members. So, you know. But throughout this movie, he is basically the main villain. We do have some lower villains out there who are basically the soldier human gear that were created in the Metsubo Jinrai movie. So a lot of them are trying to come to terms with who are they going to side with. Are they going to side with humans, or are they going to side with Metsubo Jinrai? And we only have one that sides with the humans, who is Soul 20. And Soul number 9, he sides with Metsubo Jinrai, and he basically gets he still sides with Metsubo Jinrai, but he sides with what they were trying to actually accomplish. They were fighting for freedom for human gears, and a few of the other soldier human gear are basically, they're going by the more destructive side, the other plans they had against Metsubo Jinrai, the other plans that Metsubo Jinrai had to basically destroy humanity. So they're basically going off by that. They're going around basically taking out AIMS members. Majority of the fighting is going to be done by AIMS, Fua, and Yaiba. We do see Adoto in this movie as well. It's really nice to see him. He's still on Satellite Zaya, basically fixing her, essentially, or basically fixing the link between her and the arc. So yeah, and also no Azu in this at all. Azu is basically dead. Yeah, Azu's dead. So no Azu at all in this movie. I was actually surprised, because Azu, she be around, and she's still out there trying. I guess so. Now that Azu is gone, and you know, the whole arc thing, this basically is the ending. So I guess there's no more spreading the arc type thing going on. There's no trying to find someone who's going to become the new arc at all, because we saw that even Kamen Rider Zaya, he was the one that ended up destroying the arc driver as well too. So no more arc, no more Azu, just it's all gone. Also, we do see Thouser in this movie as well. You do see Thouser in this. He does after Zaya destroyed, after Kamen Rider Metsubo Jinrai destroyed the Zaya building, he was in that building, and he almost basically died in that building. Some AIMS members do find him, and he does end up getting his 1000 driver back. Awesome. He basically says that I am Kamen Rider Thouser, or the 1000 driver belongs to me and me alone, and one day I'll bring all of Zaya back, and one day I'll be president again of Zaya. So that's it. We don't see Thouser for the rest of the movie. Like, he's completely out there. We don't see him at all. No henshin, nothing in that. So no Thouser at all in this movie either. But we also see that throughout the movie, we see they're most likely just fighting Kamen Rider Metsubo Jinrai. He is decimating everything to them. He is basically beating everything. He's just mollywopping everything that goes in his way. And you see Fua and Yaiba are basically the only ones who basically have any type of power to take him out, other than Adoto. But Adoto's not on Earth right now. So what happens, we see that they both ended up getting their rider powers and stuff destroyed. We see that We get the return of Base, rushing Cheetah and shooting Wolf, which was nice to see. But I felt like, oh well, we didn't see their other forms in this movie. So we didn't see Assault Wolf, Rampage Wolf. We didn't see rushing. We didn't see Thunder Hornet. Like, we didn't see any of their other forms. We just saw their new forms, and their new forms look really good. I mean, like, Severe Tiger basically was Yaiba's new form. She basically gets it from the Human Gear Soul 20, who was one of the Human Gear that basically decided that she's going to side with humanity. That's basically her pro rights key, and with that, she was able. That's how Yaiba gets her new form. And the forms, they're cool. It just, they weren't all, in my opinion, they weren't all that powerful. They weren't, because they still ended up getting their butts kicked by by Kamen Rider Metsuba Jinrai. So the forms weren't all that strong. I was actually a little bit disappointed in that. Especially Fuwa's new form called Lone Wolf. Now it looks really cool, and he uses the 01 driver to basically become that. But at the same time, it wasn't all that powerful. Look cool. They both look great, but they weren't all that powerful. He gets Lone Wolf from the other Human Gear, Soul 9, who was one of the Human Gear that sided with Metsuba Jinrai, but he sided, at first he was going to do what the other Human Gear are doing, by just killing AIMS members and stuff like that, fighting for Metsuba Jinrai, but he ends up getting his mind changed by Fuwa, and he inevitably goes and Nine actually goes and tries to stop the he ends up going to Daybreak City and trying to stop the rest of the Human Gear, the other soldier Human Gear, from basically killing all these AIMS members. So he does, and they ended up jumping him and not destroying him, but like shutting him down. They beat the crap out of him, and he does talk to Fuwa a little bit, and Nine ends up giving Fuwa his pro rights key. So after that, Fuwa does talk down. He does talk down the rest of the Metsuba Jinrai, soldier Human Gear, and he does talk them down because they were just going around killing AIMS members. He ends up so he doesn't fight them. They don't get destroyed or anything like that. So he stops them. He basically talks them down, and after that, we see that Fuwa goes to the hospital for talk to Yaiba, and this is earlier, but Yaiba is in the hospital after her fight with Kamen Rider Metsuba Jinrai. She is beaten up, battered, bruised, stuff like that. She takes a heavy blow to the head, and she's trying to she's in the hospital. So Fuwa's like, I got this. This is what a Kamen Rider is for. So, but Yaiba also, she's under orders, by this elected official to eradicate Metsuba Jinrai, to basically just eradicate them. They don't, he believes that Human Gear never should have been given human forms. AI should have never been given human forms, stuff like that. Just putting on this narrative that AI will never be superior to humans because we created them and stuff like that. So he was pushing again on humanity that Human Gear are bad, and they will always be bad, stuff like that. So she's not all the way obeying his orders, stuff like that. She's obligated to, because he's an elected official. He's kind of like her boss, stuff like that. But Yaiba's still going off and doing her own thing. So while Yaiba's in the hospital, we see that Fuwa goes to Hidden Enterprises, talks to Izu, new Izu, and he tries to get his shot riser repaired, because earlier he ends up getting destroyed. So he tries to do it. She says that, I can't do that because we're not you don't have authorization to do that. Zaya can't do anything because Zaya is being maintenanced and fixed by President Audito. So she says you might want to call Auditor and see if he can do something to help you. And he ends up calling he ends up getting a call from Auditor, and he talks to Auditor, and Auditor basically ends up giving him. They have like a heart-to-heart talk, and Auditor basically ends up giving him the 01 driver. We see that we also see that Auditor is using the 02 driver to basically help out with the Zaya thing. So he ends up getting that from Auditor. He goes off to, he tells Yaiba that he's going off to take him out, and he goes to fight Comrade Mitsuba Jinrai back in the forest, where they had that little memorial for like all the other human gear that throughout the series that died, and they're going back to that, and we're seeing them have this pretty good fight. It's a cool fight. I like Lone Wolf. I like the henshin sound of Lone Wolf, and I like the design of Lone Wolf too. It's sleek, and in my opinion, doesn't look as good as Rampage Wolf, because I love the metallic arm and stuff that Rampage Wolf has, stuff like that. So it doesn't look as cool to me, but it's still a cool looking form. And in this fight, we see that they do end up taking each other out. We see that Fua is messed up in this. He has blood coming out of his eyes and all stuff going on, and Mitsuba Jinrai is basically destroyed. We see that now that they don't really have a body to go back to, they're basically gone forever. Technically, they're basically gone forever unless we get another 01 thing come around. Unless we get another 01 movie or anything like that where they bring the Mitsuba Jinrai members back, they are basically presumed dead, or they are dead because they don't have a body to go to. Because because in the last movie, while they were in Mitsuba Jinrai form, he destroyed their human gear bodies, so they don't have bodies or backup bodies to go to unless they were backed up by a system in the Mitsuba Jinrai base or something like that. But other than that, they're gone. So yeah, they're trying to basically in that they're trying to. I really felt like they were going to fight back in a way, like their consciousnesses were going to try and fight back the Mitsuba Jinrai like system from destroying everything, and they did to a degree. They were trying to fight it back, yeah, I guess, but even with their combined will, it was still too strong for them to have any kind of like real impact. So they end up getting taken out by Fua. Yaiba gets there. She's holding Fua. He has a few last words, and Fua dies. And it hurt me, because I was like, yo, he's not like the human gear, He's not like, because human gear, unless you have a backup for them, because they're robots, they're AI, unless you have like a backup body or system for them, they're gone. But at the same time, you have Fua, who's a whole full blown human here, and he's one of my favorites. He's one of my favorite secondary writers of all time, and to see Fua die like that in this blaze of glory, even though he was bloody, battered, and bruised, I don't think Fua just had to die. I don't think Fua had to die like that. I didn't like it. I mean, he went out in the blaze of glory as a hero, stuff like that, but I know, like, I just felt like, why did Fua have to die? Why'd you have to kill off Fua's character? I just didn't like it. It was just one of the things I just didn't like it. I didn't agree with that, So because personally, I felt like they were going to kill off Fua and Yaiba. And now I'm sitting here thinking, like, what's Auditor going to think, Now, we do see, like, Fua walk away into the sunlight, and he, like, fades away. So I don't know if he really is dead, or that was just, like, a thing, But after that, we go back to this press conference of the elected official that was, bossing around Yaiba. He's having this session talk. He have this big board, like one of those big meetings where press and stuff come out like that, and he basically says that Mitsuba Jinrai has been taken out, stuff like that, and this is why AI should have never been given human form and stuff like that. So Yaiba walks in with Soul 20 and Soul 9. So they ended up saving Soul 20 and Soul 9, these two obscure characters technically, and I just didn't understand, like, okay, you save them, because their bodies weren't destroyed. They were just beat up. Oh yeah, you can back them up and repair them, stuff like that. And they were there, and I guess they're part of Ames now, because the attire that they were wearing. But we don't also, but they, Yaiba walked in and said that she basically had a few words, and she walked in and said that, hey, Metsuba Jinrai was only trying to fight for the freedom of human gears, and this only happened because humans forced their hand. This only happened, the whole Kamen Rider Metsuba Jinrai thing only happened because of what humans were doing. And this will only keep repeating itself if we don't learn from it. And that's absolutely true. And they ended up walking, and we actually see the camera pans over, and we see our 4 Metsuba Jinrai members standing there. And we see a scene in the hallway where they walk out, and I'm just thinking, okay, this is symbolizing something, because if they really were there, I feel like they would have said something. Hirobi, most likely, because he is the leader, he would speak for all of them. But at the same time, I knew that it couldn't have been them because the way their faces looked and stuff, and they didn't say anything. All we see is them walking out to the hallway, and they ended up fading away. So I guess that's basically the confirmation that they are dead, and that was basically like their souls. And we see Yaiba 9. No, we see Yaiba 9. You see Yaiba, Soul 9, and Soul 20 walk out, and they fade away as well. But we know they're not dead because they just went and talked to a whole bunch of people. And then after that, the credits keep rolling. We see Fua walking down the hallway, and then he fades away into the light. And clearly, we know that Fua is dead. And this is it was just a bittersweet ending, because we wanted the end, but we lost 5 people. Like 5 characters died. And I just want to know, I just wondering, how is Adato going to feel about this? Because that was his last time. Because basically that was his last time talking to Fua, and I could be wrong. Fua could not be dead. There's a part of me that believes that he's not dead, but we know he's dead. And that's just the death that didn't sit right with me. That's the death that didn't make much sense to me. I didn't like that death. But they died heroes, I guess, and I don't know. And also, we don't know what happened to the other. We don't know. They didn't show. We don't know what happened to the other Humagear, the other soldier Humagear who were following Metsuba Jinrai, who are killing every freaking bot, who are killing all these Ames members. We don't know what happened to them. I guess maybe they're still back in Daybreak Town. We don't know anything that will happen with them. So I'm wondering, is there something else going to happen? Because Adato still hasn't come back from Earth yet. He hasn't come back to Earth yet. He talks about how it was still going to be a long time before he comes back to Earth. So what's going to happen? Well, other than that, though, I give this movie maybe a 7 out of 10, because that Fua death just really didn't sit right with me. And the new forms were lackluster. They look cool, but they weren't all that powerful. But other than that, though, this is basically a bittersweet ending for Kamen Rider 01 right now. And I love 01. It's in my top 5 riders. And I love this series. You guys know I love this series. If you've been here for all my 01 reviews and stuff like that, you guys know I love this series. And I just don't like this ending. If I'm going to be honest, I just don't really like this ending. But other than that, guys, you guys let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think about this movie. Do you think anything else is going to happen after this? How do you feel about how you feel about losing 5 characters? How you feel about Fua's death? What do you think about the new forms? All that good jazz. And I'm going to see you guys next time. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I'm going to see you guys next time. Peace out, everybody. And remember, stay henshined. R.I.P. to the lone wolf.